We're now in Trafalgar Square. We're walking over to where the speakers are speaking right now. I just thought I'd give you a shot here of this choir practicing.
Which is funded by
For your information, I've included some portions of what the speakers were saying, so I'm going to keep my comments to an absolute minimum.
Had no right to privatize the NHS. We will hold them to account next May. You will hold them to account next May. This is your NHS, this is my NHS, this is our NHS. And we must fight for it, and I welcome you to London, and I really welcome you to the fact that you raise the consciousness of this nation. This NHS is safe in our hands, not in the safe hands of the people who want to privatize it, who want to sell it. So thank you very much for coming to London. Thank you very much for joining us, and we are on your side. And I speak here as a member of the London Assembly, as spokesman for the health matters. I'm a practicing doctor, and I know on the sharp end of the NHS what's happening. People are suffering, and these cuts must be reversed. And I know that Andy Burnham, who's talking later on, has already promised to repeal the Health and Security Act of 2012, which privatizes it. We will do it. Welcome to London. Thank you.
Many of us have family members or ourselves, our lives have been saved by the NHS. If we allow another 5 years of the Tory Lib Dems, that will end. We will have a privatised NHS. Do we want that? No! We will have profit before patients. Do we want that? No! We will have money spent on competition lawyers rather than care. Do we want that? No! We will do our best over the next 243 days to make sure the next government saves the NHS. Are we going to help? Yes! Can we do it? Yes! Can we do it? Yes, we can!
Yes, we can!
The closure of emergency departments in deprived areas. These closures come at a time of unprecedented political interference in the NHS, which all started after the 2008 global crisis. Every step of the way we have felt in Ealing, with a wonderful campaign led by our Trade Union Council, our politicians, our Ealing Keep Our NHS Public, LinkedIn.
My name is Virginia. I'm a practice manager of a quite large and deprived practice in Tower Hamlets, and I'm here today on behalf of East London GPs. You may or may not know that following some recent changes to the GP funding formula, practices across the country have suddenly found themselves at risk of closure because unable to provide the portfolio of services with what the government tells us are fairer payments, and it essentially cuts to our funding. This basically means that the government is taking money from practices who serve England's youngest or most deprived populations and redistributing it amongst all practices, telling us that this promotes fairness. For less than what it cost to insure a guinea pig in a year, we are asked to provide services to some of the country's most challenging and deprived patients. Now, you've heard a lot about GPs being very, very tired and earning a whole lot of money. I wish that were true, the money bit. What I can tell you is that we're not here with a story about overworked, demoralized, overtired GPs, although we're probably all of these things. We are here to share a story of excellence. Yes. We are here to tell you that with all its flaws, general practice in the UK is the envy of the world. And I should know because I moved to England to serve the NHS. Day on day, general practice in the UK provides comparatively higher on less money than in most parts of the Western world, and we want to continue doing this. We want to stop the phasing out of deprivation payments and stop destabilizing unauthorized changes to GP funding until further consultations with NHS staff and NHS patients. The second thing we want is a fairer funding formula. At the moment, funding favors practices with large numbers of elderly patients, which is extremely important. But in poor areas, people get sick younger and die younger. Different areas face different needs, and we must not shy away from acknowledging deprivation and using this word to tell it as it is. The 2012 Health and Social Care Act has failed us. It has failed us as a nation, as a healthcare services, as healthcare professionals, but it has especially failed us as patients. This is destabilizing hundreds of challenged, young and deprived practices across the country, which are now facing closure. Mine is one of them, the Jubilee Street practice. 5 others in Tower Hamlets, 22 in East London, 36 in London, and hundreds nationally. This must stop. It is not in the ethos of the NHS to ignore the young, the deprived, and the sick. And a threat to one GP surgery and its patients is a threat to all. It's a threat to all patients whose story this is about in its fear and its fight, and we are confident in its success.
Thank you very much, Virginia. And yes, keep an eye on what's happening to your local GP surgeries. We all need our GP. We treasure our GPs. They are the first point of call for us, for our families and for ourselves. So let's watch out for our local GPs.